Welcome to the KBCC garage. Kissyboy's Crusty Cars.
Hello folks, this is Cliff Kissyboy Smith coming to you with a different kind of series here, or a different episode. I'm hoping to make into a little series if you guys want to watch it. It's still the KBCC garage, but this is where KBCC stands for Kissyboy's Crusty Cars. So I like doing weathered builds. Sometimes I like to take a little break from doing the shiny stuff, and with acrylic paints and imagination, you can make some pretty cool stuff that looks fairly realistic. So I wanted to do a little series and focus on each of the cars that I've created so far that are weathered using various different methods. Now, I've actually done a video on most of the cars except for the Beetle. I did like a little brief thing on a Halloween video a couple of years ago. But this was one of the ones that I've been working on before my last video ended. And I'll throw up some pictures along with this one. But I never really did a real video on that one. So most of these have already been revealed before, but I just wanted to do a little quick little video on each of these. Just to put something up on the channel and give you something else to look at, and maybe a little more depth on that I might not have gone into on some of the other cars. So I think we're gonna start with this one. All right. So if you recall, a few years ago, back in 2016, I did this one called the Junk Torino. This thing took me probably about 2 weeks to build. And what I was thinking when I started is, it was reminding me of cars I used to see back in Boston back in the 80s and 90s, with all the rust and the rot just sitting in people's yards. I was watching Dr. Cranky video on weathering and all that, and I had one of these sitting in the stash, so I was just like, I gotta build me a junk car. It's from the Starsky & Hutch 76 Ford Grand Torino kit. I had a lot of fun with this one, based on things I've built recently for weathered cars. This one implements a few ideas or methods. I use the salting method, and mostly just a rattle can, just misted to create all the rust spots and so on. And it's basically layering. There's several videos on YouTube that go into more detail as far as, you know, how weathering goes. And I haven't done any tutorials or anything like that because basically, I mean, there are better teachers out there than I am, and I have done like little slideshows that show the progression of what I've done with my weathered cars. Basically, a brief overview. I start with using heat to melt certain body panels to get, you know, the dents, like in the roof here and on the door and behind the fender and on the trunk here. You don't really see that too much, but and then over the fender here. So basically, it looks like a car that was well used, and might have seen some good days and definitely some bad days. That said, my original video just reminded me of cars that I'd seen in Boston back in the old days, and this is the bad side and the good bad side, where it kind of looks like well, I guess I've been watching a little bit too much Vice Grip Garage. This is the Craigslist side.
Watch out, Craigslist coming
That's
at
the
you.
side you
Low
use
miles,
to basically
never
sell it,
been
and in reality, you know, this is all of what you get. But this was a fun one. I actually built this one before we moved to where we are now, and this was basically built on a little card table. At the time, I think I bought like three or four of these Torino kits, and had a good time with each one of them, or plans for each one of them. I've only actually built believe 3 Torino kits out of all the ones I've purchased over the years. 2 are the Starsky and Hutch, which is this one, and the actual Starsky and Hutch I built before we moved to Texas. And then I have the one from the newer version of the kit, a stockish or stock 76 Gran Torino. But I'm not sure how in depth I went into the video, the first one that I did on this car, but I'm pretty sure it might not have been as in depth as it's going to be on this one. It's still brief though. Basically, I used sandpaper disc to pull off some of the letters. So instead of Ford, it's FOD, and a small bit to drill into the where the emblem should go there. Had some parts box, Krager's, one little Steely, and missing filler panels, probably deteriorated over the years, and basically a primered hood that's got some surface rust on it. And I'll pause here and take the hood off so you can see under the hood. Okay, and as you can see, or not see from where it's at now, this is the kit motor. But at the time when I built this, I was building 72 Ford F100, so I robbed the intake manifold and the carburetor and air clean off of that kit. And I went for the look of a car that's been picked over. Basically, it had a few good parts on it, and they might have tried to revive it, but gave up on it. But now it's kind of sitting in the yard, collecting dust and so on, and leaves. Which the leaves, by the way, that are all around this car, they actually are bay leaves. So you can actually raid the spice cabinet if you find any expired or old spices. They can resemble leaves, and you can use that as a method of dirtying down the car and making it look like it's been out in the weather a little bit. And that's spread all around the car, so you can see it. I used back then I used to use the rubber glue that dries clear. Use that, put it around the bumper and everything so it would stick. And when it dries clear. And I'm looking at this thing and I'm seeing all kinds of things I forgot about over the years that I've done to it. See, in the underside, basically, it's nothing really to write home about, just that red oxide primer. And I did do a little bit of a black wash, like diluted black paint, basically, just kind of brushed over it. And the rest of it is just the kit exhaust and everything. So it's made it look like something that might have been a little speedy, a little fun back in the day, and then just kind of got parked away after an accident and picked over and forgotten about. It's kind of my thing that I like with the weathered cars. They have a little story behind them. And I kind of wish that I'd done the other side more like this side, because I'm kind of digging the way this side looks. The quote-unquote Craigslist side. But, I've learned newer methods over the years, and when I go over, hopefully if I continue with the series, I keep the energy up as far as this goes, I'll go over in the series more of the other cars, some of the techniques I picked up by watching YouTube and Facebook, and just brainstorming ideas based on those videos and tutorials I've seen online, things that come up from builds I've done after this one. This one pretty much just spends its life on my main shelf with the rest of my builds. But I was pretty proud of this one. Taped off the, can't see it there, taped off the windshield so it would look like streaks of the windshield wipers. And that was a Dr. Cranky thing. Most of the salting method I learned back then was from Dr. Cranky. And the interior, I wish I'd taken more pictures of it before I put it in there, but I kind of used super glue and put fleece over the front seat so it looks like a ratty old seat, and then I dusted it with some more of the bay leaves or basil leaves. But overall, this was fun to build. I mean, with you'll probably hear me say this over and over again, with the the weathered cars, everything that you do to it tells a story. Even if you drop it on the floor, it adds to the story. You don't have to worry about polishing it. I mean, if you want to get shiny spots in it, I believe I go on over in videos where I've gotten places where it looks like the paint is still a little shiny. That's about all I can say about the 76 Junk Torino. I hope you guys like this series. If you like it, you can put the thumbs up, put the thumbs down, leave a comment, subscribe, and whatever you want to do at this point. I put this stuff up, to share it and have fun. And if you don't like it, there's like literally thousands of us out there now that we know about that that put up these videos. So I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I appreciate all the support, and appreciate people bringing me out so I can start shooting these videos and get enthused about doing this. After the holidays, like I said in my last video, I kind of stepped away. Anyway, as I said in the last video, and I tend to do this, I guess it's a little bit of rambling on, but this is the Junk Torino. Thanks for watching, and I hope you all stay safe, and hopefully there'll be more videos like this coming soon on Kissyboy's Crusty Cars. Take care. Hey KBCC Garage fans, we're introducing a brand new shop card designed by Monarch Arts DS. Bubba's Red Malibu, one of my favorite builds. Email kissyboysmith@gmail.com to request a copy of the shop cards while they last.
Your battery needs charging, 'cause your spark plugs ain't fine at all. I found out your differential is very dry. It is completely out of oil.